With me on the program this afternoon is Dr. Johnson Edosomwan. He is a presidential aspirant of the Nigeria Democratic Congress Party, NDCP. And he says his vision for Nigeria is to grow a country where all Nigerians are free to enjoy the goodies of life. He believes it is time for Nigerians to breathe a fresh breath of air because it has not been that easy. A lot of people will agree that Nigeria does need a change of guard, but some others say no. And on this program, on the Situation Room this afternoon, we are going to be hearing a lot about what should be done right in Nigeria. Help me welcome Dr. Johnson Edosomwan. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good to see you.
Yes,
how are you?
Very, very fine.
Thank you so much.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Yes, you've talked a lot about what you want to do for Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying, why can't you try maybe somewhere else? I know you are a towering figure when it comes to issues about agri-economics, space tech, space engineering, agri-politics, everything about the spheres of science and, agri.
Yeah.
And Nigerians have come to realize that agri is the way to go. I haven't had a situation where oil has failed the economy woefully, not even with the kind of downward tide the oil market has experienced in the last 2-3 years. Now tell us, you say you want to bring Nigerians out of poverty.
Yes.
And you say you want Nigerians to enjoy the goodies of life.
Yes.
One of those things that I read about in your manifesto is the fact that you've talked about power and power generation. In a country where in the last 20 years, successive governments have practically failed in the issue of giving Nigerians 24-hour power. With everything we have, the natural resource, the dams are there, and yet Nigerians cannot have 24-hour power generation. We had a situation where a minister said he was going to kill all the witches in the power sector. Up till today, that minister, sometime before the end of his tenure, got enmeshed in, a lot of political and corruption issues. How do you intend to fix power, for example?
First of all, the issue of power is a very simple problem. One is we have to bring the new technology in. We want to embark on solar technology, wind technology, the purpose of creating power for nuclear energy, and then we want to use hydroelectricity. With all of these combined, the issue of power will become past tense. The issue is not fixing the power. The issue is the corruption in the system that you got to fix. And one of the things we will do is to partner with all our best practices people all over the world. As you know, I have served several countries. I've served several large companies, large organizations worldwide. I want to use my best practices to bring solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectricity, nuclear power for the purpose of creating power. So that from Bayelsa all the way to Sokoto, from Enugu all the way to Ondo, we can have a 24/7 power. It is not that complicated. Secondly, you also have to address the issue of corruption, because the power to be, we vote money every year for power. And then the issue is that people don't allow that money to be used for the purpose of it. Then we don't even give the people that have the expertise a chance to come and fix the problem. Under our administration, capable Nigerians from all walks of life. I don't care what political party you belong to, but if you have, the capability and the capacity to be able to help us do this, you are welcome. And if you are corrupt, you are not welcome. You must well get your resume out of the pie. But one of the things we will do very quickly is that 6 months after we're done with power, we'll do this in phases. We will make sure that power will be for productivity, for manufacturing, for service, for institutions of higher learning, for all of those industries that we want to create so that we can create jobs. And then following that, we want to get into the residential area whereby there are more people that are, concerned, with electricity. And then we want to, also serve the rural areas, the regions, because they need power as well. So we want to do it in 3 or 4 phases so that over a period of time, you will have a 24/7 power in the nation. Again, the technology is there, it's available. We got to reach out and bring those technology to Nigeria. That's what it is missing. Solar, wind, hydroelectricity, nuclear, all of these, are things that can help us with power.
Yes, when you talk about power, you talk about a situation in Nigeria, for example, where some states have been able to, generate their own power. But connecting to the national grid seems to have some political undertones about it. Why is it that a state cannot generate and connect to the, to the general grid and serve other states and use the one it can manage within the sphere of that space, of that state, for example? For example, if you go to a state like Akwa Ibom, or Bayelsa. Bayelsa generates about 5 megawatts, and Akwa Ibom something very close to that. But you see that there is a lot of political undertones. Some don't have the political will to even say, okay, bring whatever you have, connect to the national grid, serve your state, grow your industries. Why is it that the federal government seems, to put at check, the development of some states that can actually generate power for themselves?
Well, first of all, Nigerian progress begins with me. And when I mean it begins with me as president, all of those barriers that, create impediment to our progress would need to be eliminated. Because, number one, if you have enough capacity and power capability in Bayelsa, and Bayelsa can serve Edo State, or it can serve, Zamfara, or it can serve Sokoto, then you want to make sure that those things are encouraged so that, these, people are able to come to the national power grid. So one of the key problems that you got to resolve is to eliminate all of these various, barriers, issues, from state to state. And one of the things that a president has to do is to bring the teamwork, between all of the various stakeholders of power. So I intend, number one, to work with the Senate, the House of Representatives, stakeholders in the state, and even generators of all of these other issues so that they are able to work together to do all of this. So it's a matter of, number one, what is the priority of the president? The president has to, remove all those roadblocks and create a unified, transformation where teamwork. This is not about religion. This is not about, nationality. This is not about tribalism. This is not about state. This is about now progress. We are united for progress. My brothers and sisters in the South, in the North, in the West, and also in the East, all of them want jobs. They all want power. So we need to bring them together to work for this purpose. I know how to do it. I've been doing this for over 35 years.
Sir, I am very concerned about the fact that a lot of Nigerians, when they sit to talk, they'll talk about the fact that Nigeria was faulty at the beginning, talking about the way it was structured by, our by Lord Lugard and of course, the colonial masters. That name is always keeping me. And, because of the structure, Nigeria was built more like a civil service state, that should provide service to the colonial masters. And as a result, Nigerians continuously, and I've since ever that time, been talking about restructuring Nigeria. That brings us to the issue of restructuring. If we were to restructure Nigeria to give it the kind of dream that you envisage for this country, what will be the first 2 things that you will do to restructure Nigeria perfectly and bring it back on track?
Okay. First of all, there's enough problem to go around. I don't want to go back and blame anyone for, whether or not it was Lugard or it was past president or current president and so forth. I want to talk about my vision. Number one, restructure is needed now.
Okay.
It's not needed yesterday, it's needed what? Now. Let me give you an example. People from the Niger Delta, people from Bayelsa and all of those people, where a lot of the OAS are coming from. They don't have good schools, they don't have good healthcare program, they don't have good education, they don't have all of the things but yet a lot of oils are being pumped over there and distributed all over the world and sold. So you got to restructure the assets of the country on fairness and equity, and balance also that with the need, to be able to make sure that all our brothers and sisters in the north and south and west will be able to also get a lot of what they need. So restructuring is a #1 priority, and we will get that done within 90 days when we get to power, because that has, prevented, Nigerians from achieving their full potential. Because I was in some of the, Niger State, the airports are lousy. The roads are no good. Electricity no good. I mean, you can go on and on. Seaports are no good. When I was in one of the airports, somebody has to plug in a generator, which is only a capacity of less than 2 megabytes to be able to, give me a ticket. And after that, he turned it off to the next person coming online. So restructuring is a #1 priority to make sure that it's fair and equity. The second thing that is also, parallel with that is our constitution. Our constitution needs to be designed by the people, for the people, and progress for the people. When you are a free democratic country, everyone should not be above the law. The institution of government should be in place to serve everyone. So constitution is also important, a part of the restructuring. Not only restructuring, but re-engineering. All of the work processes in every government agency, needs to be, streamlined, eliminate waste. And then the policies and procedures need to ask a simple question: does this thing add any value to what we are doing in the government? If it doesn't add any value, you eliminate it. If it does add any value, you streamline it for effectiveness. So restructuring is a key one. I have seen a lot of restructuring, work that have been done where task force has been put in place. But when those, things get to the desk of the president or the vice president, they get put under the drawer. Under my administration, 90 days, it will be done and it will be implemented now, and then the country will be better off.
You've continued to say under your administration.
Yes.
What does the Nigeria Democratic Congress Party, NDCP, intend to do differently? What do you want to do differently to make Nigerians actually, say, yes, this is what we have been waiting for all this while?
#1, we will create 7 million jobs per year. We have youth right now that have graduated, and 10 years they are driving taxi cabs. That is unacceptable. 7 million jobs minimum per year so we can erase that deficit. Secondly, we will be able to fix the economy and expand it whereby the revenue is more than oil, so that we can expand the economy to manufacturing, to service, to healthcare, to infrastructure, and to education, and much more. And then, thirdly, we want to make sure that we empower youth and women. Right now, less than 7% of our women, have the capital of what we need. We will require of all of the board of directors to make sure they have women on their board. 25% of our contract will be set aside for women and youth. So that this deficit that you have, where you don't have a job, they graduate 15 years, they are roaming the street, and some of them becomes 42 years old before they can even taste, a job. And that is unacceptable. We will grow, the gross national product by up to 9%, not even 2%, because that doesn't even make you competitive. Because we know how to do this. We will partner with all our friends all over the world, the people that we have worked with, the people that we have worked for, that we have served. We will bring them to Nigeria. We will therefore reduce, tax and give tax incentive to investors in Nigeria. And that tax percent will be cut to 15% so that you can invest your money in Nigeria. And secondly, we'll create infrastructure where the roads are no good. High-speed rail will be created so that you can ship, product from Sokoto all the way to Bayelsa in less than a few minutes, rather than today where it takes us average of almost months and months, even sometimes may not even get there, and because the roads are bad. These are things we are going to do to create millions of jobs. I want to encourage our youths, and especially our women, because those are two groups of people that have been left behind in the economy. We don't have, middle class. We either have less than 1% of the people that really control the wealth of the nation, and everybody else is in the bottom. We want to declare war on poverty, whereby there will be war from welfare to work. And then we will also want to make sure we create middle class. And the way you create a middle class is to create a vibrant economy and then, innovative economy where people are able to live. We want to create jobs now, and jobs now. And then when you create those jobs, those are able to now make sure that all of the people are better off. And secondly, you look at roads everywhere you go. I was in the north, in the south, in the east, or the west. The roads are so bad that your bumpers, and your car will be destroyed, if you go more than 25 miles an hour. A journey that would take about 5 minutes will take 5 hours. That is the thing that Nigerians need to say no to and begin to look at creating best practices. From Bayelsa to Sokoto, we create a 10-lane roads, 10 lanes with high-speed rail, and then with cars that can go through it. And then we will create an one road, which means that we can connect, from Enugu to Undo, from Bayelsa to Sokoto, and then we can create cross-national road and state roads that will connect each other so that people can see the life that the democratic country will be living. That's what we will be doing.
I am forced to ask, you have such a gigantic, a task ahead of you, but how is your representation like, the NDCP in Nigeria? Because for you to be able to reach Nigerians with this level of message that you've told Nigerians today, you must have, representation at least in every local government in Nigeria. Who are the apostles telling Nigerians some of this message across Nigeria for you?
When you come tomorrow, for example, we have a major endorsement tomorrow nationwide for one of the most, people that look down on them because they don't have money, but they have the masses. Every Nigerian, no matter whether or not you are rich or poor, and then whether or not you are educated or uneducated, this message is for you.
Okay.
You need to not sell your votes. You need to let someone not buy your votes. And then you need to be determined to say, I am willing to sacrifice to make a change for the transformation of Nigerian system from point A to Z. Not point A to C, where people think go around and say it changed, and then they change their faces. If you are better off than you were 4 years ago, don't listen to this message. If you were better off 16 years than where you were, now today, don't listen to this message. If you weren't better off today than you were 4 years ago, you need to therefore listen to our message, because we are here to bring complete total transformation to the Nigerian system. It does not matter, whether or not NDCP is, having, people at the, local government level or national level. We are here for all Nigerians. And then when NDCP wins, it's not just NDCP, people that will be in power. This is not about religion, it's not about nationality, it's not about race, it's not about tribalism. We are going to take the best of Nigerians to solve the problem in Nigeria. Regardless of what party you belong to, come and join us.
Well, you've been listening to Dr. Johnson Edosomwan. He says Nigeria will be better if you don't sell your vote, and of course, if you think right. Thinking right means you must do the right things.